Fellow nerds, it is time. We are talking The Mandalorian, Chapter 21, The Pirate. It was a good episode. Don't think it was great. I have a few problems with it. There were some great things I really enjoyed about it. There were some not so great things about it.
Yeah, I had just a small question. When now we're going to jump all around here, so I'm not following in front of
Not shockingly, we're jumping to the end of the episode, I'm guessing.
When she took off her helmet, when she had her take off her helmet, how come her hair and face makeup and everything was perfect? How long has she had that mask or the helmet on? For a couple of weeks?
Well, they got much better hair and makeup products in a galaxy far, far away.
Yes, I'm sure they do. Yeah, no, that was just a joke. But I don't know. Does that put her above Finn? Well, first of all, I haven't seen him show off that he has the Darksaber to everybody. So I don't even know if they know. I mean, I guess the armorer does.
So does Paz Vizsla.
Yeah, because he tried to take it from him.
Yeah.
But that's it. They haven't mentioned it, and I don't know if they mentioned it to the others or what. But
and he didn't use it when he was standing in front of them trying to elicit their help for Navarro, which I was like, okay, he's not using the one thing he has that's supposed to unite the Mandalorians. He's just going up and speaking, to them as Mandalorian to Mandalorian. I thought that was fitting for his character. He doesn't seem to want to rule or, use the Darksaber just for the sake of using the Darksaber, which makes him the perfect leader, of course.
Yeah, and he basically said, if any of you want to come, come with me. If not, I'm not going to hold it against you. But I'm going. And then when Paz was talking, I say Paz like we're buddies. Paz Vizsla was talking.
No, you're not?
Well, I mean, he's an animated person so far. Maybe when it becomes real.
Wait, the Mandalorian's animated?
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on.
I need to have my vision checked.
Vizsla is what I was. Oh, jeez. I'm terrible. Anyways. I really thought that speech was going to go south. I'm sure everyone did. But they said because we're Mandalorians. I'm like, yeah, man, he's got his back. Even though he doesn't really want to do it. This is the way.
This is the way. And the few things that I noticed, like when they were going there, and she said, you, Bo-Katan was talking, and she was like, you will have a new place to call home. She did not say we. I thought that was odd. Because I keep watching her very closely because I'm still borderline whether I think she is actually with them or just using them for the moment. And I thought that was odd when she said it that way. But actually, before we even get into that, the one part I kind of irked me the most is when, the Captain Teva was like, oh, we can't get a hold of them. I'll just fly out there. I thought that was a bit ridiculous. I'm like, why on earth would he have to fly to Coruscant just to talk to somebody about this going on? You can leave a message much like Grief Karga did for him. I thought it would have played much better if he would have left one of those things for Tim Meadows, which was a great cameo. I liked seeing him. Yeah. Him talking and then, Moff's buddy coming in and going, oh, well, they didn't sign the charter, so we really can't do it. And maybe just sending a message back to him. It seemed the fact that he flew all the way out, he got the message, pirates are destroying Navarro. He had time to fly all the way out there, get denied, fly all the way, find Din, and then have them go out. I was like, yeah, the timing just didn't make sense to me.
We don't even know how far apart they are, but can't X-Wing fighters, they can't go into hyperspace, right?
They can jump into hyperspace. It's TIE fighters that can't.
It's TIE fighters that can't.
Yeah. But,
because this guy was all over the universe in this episode.
Yeah.
What were you going to say?
I was just going to say, the one thing I did love about seeing the Rangers of the New Republic in that building in their kind of casual room, we saw Zeb. It was so funny.
Oh, yeah.
When I first saw him. Well, yeah, when I first saw him, I'm like, oh, that we finally got a live action Labatt, or God, I can't remember what you're called now. And then I'm like, when I heard him speak, I'm like, it's Zeb. That is fantastic. I was very happy for that brief little cameo that he made.
I wonder if they'll be in there anymore. But it was cool. You could be like a Chewbacca type, you know.
Well, it's funny you say that. Chewbacca, Zeb is based off of a early art for Chewbacca.
Okay.
Concept art for Chewbacca. So it's kind of funny they brought him in, and two. But as soon as I saw him there too, after the scene, I was like, I wonder if we're going to get the Rangers of the New Republic still, but they reworked it. No longer Cara Dune, but maybe Zeb, Captain Teva, and maybe a few others, new characters. I was like, that'd be great if Zeb kind of got in the Mandoverse that way. I would be all for it.
Zeb was one of my favorite characters on Rebels. Definitely.
Yeah, he was definitely one of the best on there. He was just such a cool character. He was goofy. And he, teased Ezra mercilessly, and they fought like brothers. It was great. I really hope that we see more of Zeb, because I was shocked how good he looked too. Because I don't know about you, Pirate Captain Glorian Shard did not look that good to me.
No, it looked like a Muppet. Didn't he look like a Muppet?
100%. And I was like, okay, how can they make Zeb look so amazing? They must have went for this, but to me, I couldn't look at him and take him seriously. It just did not seem like they finished the effects on him, and he looked just a bit odd to me. So I was kind of disappointed in that, but some of the highlights we saw. I loved Bo-Katan's plan to take on the pirates. I thought that was great. Din goes up and he's attacking the ships and gets the snub fighters off, and Bo-Katan swoops in, and they ended up. And I guess all of those rumors that Glorian Shard was going to be the villain of Skeleton Crew, I guess we can safely put that to rest, unless it's pre-Mandalorian, which would be silly. Because when they took him down and took him out, I was like, you know what? I like this. Because the story is going to spread that the Mandalorians defended Navarro. And their power is going to start growing. I know at the end of this, they sent Bo-Katan out to gather more Mandalorians, because now they have like a home, basically. This story is going to spread too, and when people find out that Din Djarin has the Darksaber, I think they're going to come flocking to him. And at some point, I am now convinced that Bo-Katan is going to tame the Mythos over.
Then she's going to... But were they going to rule together? Because he's got the Darksaber. Or she
I don't know if they're going to rule... I don't know how they're going to play this, because they're obviously both going to have a claim to be the leader and bring back the next stage of, Mandalore. Will they be able to get along and lead that way together? Or is this going to cause a rift between the two and basically come to them, basically combat to see who is actually the leader, who is the Mandalore? I don't know. It could go either way at this point.
And then they break off in factions just like they did thousands of years ago and ruin Mandalore, with some living on Concordia. You know what I mean? Yeah. Don't follow that path. They should learn.
Well, and Bo-Katan seemed to, because remember, when they were going to the Living Waters, she said, different sets of the Mandalorians have been battling forever, and it's gotten us here. We can't do it anymore. But I don't know if her ego will be able to be kept in check, that she shouldn't be the leader. If people are following Din because he is a natural leader, she might be a little upset about it, and it may cause them to split up a little bit.
Or what? Maybe they get married. That's
Maybe.
not a very Star Wars thing to do, though.
But yeah, Attack on Show, I was glad that it didn't drag too. I did, I had my issues with Captain Teva flying all over the universe and still being able to get out there in time to, even though a lot of the city was destroyed. It just, I don't know, it didn't make, I think they could have handled it better. And then I loved at the end when the armorer said, we are going to bring back Mandalore. And I don't know if she meant like Justice Society and their base is going to be on Navarro, or if she's already planning on them going back to Mandalore and bringing, getting that planet back up. Because even though none of us thought she believed Bo-Katan, it sounds like she definitely believes Bo-Katan saw the mythosaur alive. It wasn't just a vision. She saw the mythosaur, which we all know she did.
Hey, we saw it. Are we ready to rule?
The vision only comes to those. We
Right?
are. Oh my God, we're going to rule Mandalore.
Sweet. Are we going to take turns?
Well, Doug has the dark. Doug does have the dark saber, so he's got to claim it. And he's seen the mythosaur. Oh my God!
No, he hasn't. Well, we don't know for sure. He may have.
Well, he's a Skrull too. Do we want a Skrull on the throne of Mandalore?
No, we don't. We're gonna have to take him out. I'll challenge him.
And we did. Someone was pounding upstairs. I did find it a bit odd that she was like, take your helmet off.
Yeah, I thought that was a test. I thought she was going to take it off and she'd be like, you're no longer among us or something like that. And it was like, well, she saw her potential and she got her out of the group. That's what I thought was going to happen. But now, what's the so the armorer knows he's got the Darksaber. And now she's putting Bo-Katan into the position of leader too. What is her game? To get them to go at each other?
Maybe. I mean, Mandalore, the Mandalorian society is a very combative society. So it very well may be that she's setting them on this collision course to see, like her opinion is it's not me to decide who is the Mandalore, but let these two people that are, leading the pack right now, let them decide, and by going at it. I mean, if it's something where, I don't know if they're going to send Bo-Katan off by herself to go start recruiting Mandalorians, or if Din is going to go with her. Like, she's going to request that he comes because he has the Darksaber. And he can say, yeah, I beat Moff Gideon in combat. Now, we're setting up, we've got our own part of land on Navarro. We are building our society there. We're no longer in hiding. Come join us. Let's rebuild our society. I don't know if it's going to be both of them or just Bo-Katan.
He whips out the Darksaber, turns it on, and he can't lift it up. Go with
an attack.
It's like Milner or something.
That's a good. He's still not worthy yet. An Attack on Show says there's more to this, but I haven't figured it out yet. Yeah, I'm not. I don't know if she is thinking, the armor is the she there. If she's thinking by Bo taking off her helmet and going around recruiting, it'll open more people up. Like, it's saying, come join us. Now, we're the children of the Watch. We're not going to take our helmets off, but we're also not going to turn you away if you do take your helmet off and you're, a different set of Mandalorians. We're all Mandalorians. We may believe different things. And that's why she's okay with her taking her helmet off. I don't know yet. It's kind of... Oh, and Fen Rao will be coming into this. Yes, I have seen that. The actor who did the voice is going to be playing him on The Mandalorian. I don't know if it's next episode or future, but...
The voice for?
Fen Rao.
Oh, I thought you were saying that was the actor's name.
No. The character's name. I can't remember the actor's name. But remember, he was the one who joined the rebellion and helped them against Maul and, the children, not the children of the Death Watch. So, he sided with Sabine and all of them. So we'll see what's he going to do here. Is he going to side with Bo, or is he going to have another faction of Mandalorians that is going to come to play into this? Because we could have 4 or 5 sets of Mandalorians opposed, basically going at it or fighting for supremacy, and that's not going to end well for the Mandalorians because they need to be united.
So that's not the way I took it when she said that. When she said, to unite Mandalore, I don't think she's out there to recruit. I think she's out there to find other Mandalorians and bring them all together, the ones that already exist.
No, I know. That's what I think too.
Oh, but you said she's out there to recruit.
Well, recruit other sets of Mandalorian to come join them on Navarro.
Oh, okay. Because, there's found like, Din Djarin wasn't originally a Mandalorian.
Right.
So
but
drink it!
No, I'm with you. I don't think, I must not have made myself clear. I think she's going around to find other Mandalorian sets and bring them to Navarro so they can set up basically a new homeworld.
Yeah, like finding another set of scrolls. See you.
Yeah. Because I don't think High Magistrate Karga knows it now, but Navarro is a Mandalorian planet now.
Yeah. I thought it was funny how that protocol android stopped him and said, "Hi, Magistrate." And then when he said, "Yes, hi, Magistrate," and he's looking around like, "Yeah." He's just a droid, but he's like, "Yeah, I said it." Always
it'll be
stuff. Baloney.
It'll be interesting to see how this all plays out with what Bo-Katan's mission is going to be, what the armor's true intentions are with sending her out there, if they're legit or if because we got to talk about that final scene, which was, Captain Teva coming up on the shuttle that was taking Moff Gideon off and seeing it destroyed, and then seeing that Beskar alloy in there. Because my immediate thought was, okay, this is him framing the Mandalorians for helping him escape. Like, this is supposed to be when the New Republic sees it go, the Mandalorians are teaming up with Moff Gideon, they're our new enemies, or New Republic and this fledgling Mandalore will be at it, so the First Order, no heats on them, they can build up the First Order. But what if Moff Gideon has Mandalorians that are loyal to him? He did wield the Darksaber.
He did, that's true. And when Darth Maul had it, they all listened to him. That may be true. I was thinking maybe Boba Fett as a bounty. Maybe someone other than the New Republic wants Gideon. But that was kind of a long shot. I don't often offer theories, but that was one I had. Maybe with Boba Fett, and maybe they'll give him a Boba Fett 2.1 or 1.1 episode where he'll be on next week or something. No.
Well, some of the artwork, it was fan based artwork, but it was sanctioned by Star Wars. Had Boba Fett in season 3 Mandalorian artwork, so we could see him this season. I just don't know why Boba Fett, as a crime lord on Tatooine now, would free Moff Gideon unless he was paid. Yeah. But I can't decide whether he's trying to frame Mandalorians for freeing him or if there's some loyal to him. Because if my theory that the armorer is Rook Kast, who was one of Maul's, special operatives, she could be working right under their noses and working for Moff Gideon, but every time I'm like, okay, she's helping Moff Gideon escape. She's really, doing what she can to help the Empire. I'm like, but the Empire destroyed their set on Navarro.
Mhm.
And we saw her fighting stormtroopers. Would she be willing to fight for them or with them after what happened? I just don't see it. The more we see, the less I believe that the armor is recast. I think we may see her at some point, just because, if she's still alive, just because she was such a, high up there in Maul's, set of Mandalorians in Death Watch. And, she had a lot of skills. I just don't see her as being the armor anymore.
Actually, I was gonna say, I actually saw the actress who plays the armor. Does that mean, like, eventually she's gonna take the helmet off and reveal something that, reveal that she's been playing him the whole time, something like that?
It could be. She has the horns on her helmet, which a lot of the Mandalorians did. So she could have at one time.
I like it. I like it.
she could have been part of that. But then again, her loyalties, she may have been loyal to Maul at the time, but if he no longer wields a Darksaber or is no longer a Mandalorian, she may not, care. She may, I followed him, but I'm over that. We've got a new group and we're rebuilding Mandalore and he's not a part of it. And I just can't imagine that the armor who, talked so lovingly about the forge on Mandalore and how she visited it, it was amazing, would work with a guy who basically utterly destroyed Mandalore. Right. I mean, Moff Gideon is responsible for the Night of 1,000 Tears. Just can't imagine she would team up with him for that.
Yeah, that's true.
But
my thoughts just keep going. I had a question for you. My thoughts just keep going on my head. Go ahead. I'll come back.
I was just going to say that doesn't mean that we won't see Mandalorians that are loyal to him, like maybe Rook Cast, not as the armorer. Maybe if Gar Saxton had any kids or anything or family that survived after Sabine, bested him for the Darksaber, maybe we see some of them loyal to Moff Gideon, or he's just using them, or he's hiring bounty hunters.
Now, if there are some that are loyal to Moff Gideon, would they, even if they still are right now and they're the ones who busted him out, would they switch to if they know that Din Djarin has the Darksaber? Because that's why they have their loyalty. Or would they just say, nope, we're sticking with Gideon?
Yeah, no, that's an excellent question. If they see that Din Djarin has the Darksaber now, and they only followed Moff Gideon because he had it, and that's, he won it in combat against Bo, they may be like, guess what? He's the Mandalore. We're going with him. Or Bo-Katan taming a mythosaur, which, once again, I will reiterate. If Doug's theory that Din Djarin Jar Jars himself onto the mythosaur, I will be done watching The Mandalorian.
Kind of the way that Boba Fett wrote the What Rain for. At least they had a story behind that, right? Yeah. So don't Jar Jar the story up.
If someone tames the mythosaur, it better be through skill, guile, and talent, and not just like tripping over a brick and falling up on top of it.
Woohoo! I win! You're tamed by me!
And the mythosaur's just like, I guess he won.
That's it. Yeah.
That would be wretched.
Whole line of bounty hunters or something. All come to attack him. He's got to take him out by accident with the mythosaur.
That would be great, though. I hope at some point we see, Mandalore has basically come back into power, and the Resistance or the New Republic or Thrawn, some Imperial warlord, the First Order, any of these people come, and you see Din Djarin with the Darksaber riding that mythosaur into battle. They'd just be like, "Oh, we've made a terrible mistake."
All right, here's my question. We got, what, 2 episodes left?
3 episodes left.
3? 3 episodes left. And we still haven't seen Christopher.
What did you say? 3 episodes left and what?
We still haven't seen Christopher Lloyd.
No, we have not.
I wonder, is he Bane? Or,
No, that's not Vane. I saw the actor's name for Vane, and it wasn't Christopher Lloyd. Because I've been checking to see if he's... Because you got to think, he's... Yeah, you would think he's going to be a pretty big role. Maybe not a big, like, huge role in the Star Wars universe, but at least a big role in the show. He's a big name. I don't think he's going to come on and be Stormtrooper 2A, standing guard duty over, Moff Gideon or something. I wonder if he's going to be a scientist for Moff Gideon when we finally see him.
That'd be hilarious. Like Doc and Marty.
Yeah, like, well, he's eccentric.
Acting just like that.
Whoa! He's just as eccentric.
Why is everything so heavy in the future? That'd be great, man.
That would be fantastic.
That voice at the end of the Captain Tavan or Tavar? I always mess that up.
Tiva?
What?
Captain Tiva, the New Republic guy? Yeah.
Tiva?
Tiva.
What is Tavan? Anyway, I'm thinking Guardians of the Galaxy. Captain Tiva. The guy who was talking to at the end, I could have swore that was George Clooney. When he found Gideon's ship and he was communicating back to the New Republic, it sounded like George Clooney to me.
The guy who said, "Oh, that's classified," yada yada.
Yes.
Interesting. I'm terrible with, like, it could be my wife talking. If I don't see her face, I'm like, I have no idea who that is.
I can identify people by the way they sneeze if I know them enough. So.
My wife can do it too. She'll be like, "That voice, is that so and so?" And I'm like, "Hold on, I think it is. Hold on, let me IMDb it to make sure," because I'm terrible at it. But
good at that.
Well, maybe it was. Oh, how did
he know that Din Djarin had R5? That's a good question. How did he know? Was he there?
That is, I didn't think about it because I actually kind of liked the fact that, when he got R5, Pelamato had said, "Oh, he served in the rebellion and all this stuff," and then to see that. But you're right. How on earth would he know that Din Djarin had R5? Did he communicate at all?
I was surprised that Din didn't make a comment like stupid astromech, because he originally wanted IG-11, and he just took him because he was there.
And I did like during the battle for Navarre that the IG robot was still broken up.
Yeah.
It wasn't just all of a sudden back up. And I love the fact that when everyone fled the city, the Baba Frick guys were still there. They're like, "I'm not going. I'm just going to stay here." They're looking up at the pirates. And
yeah, there's just like, everything's going to be okay. But when they left the town, you know what I thought? I thought Helm's Deep from Lord of the Rings. The way they were all leaving town and going to that area. Or we're going to keep camp here. I'm like, that's just like Helm's Deep. That's probably where they got the idea.
Probably. But I do,
the desert.
Thinking of Attack on Show's comment about how on earth would Captain Tiva know that R5 was in the possession of Din Djarin. Once again, it would have probably been better if he just sent him a message. Somehow tried to send it to him, or contact, Grief Karga and say, "Hey, New Republic ain't helping. Maybe you can contact your Mandalorian buddy." Because,
they had to set it up so that they had to move,
Yeah.
If anything, I could see that being like such a minor plot point, but it's like, we got to give them a reason to move. Let's move them to Navarro.
And there's always possibility that, New Republic intelligence keeps track of certainly a group of Mandalorians, try to keep as much knowledge on him as possible. And if they knew that Din Djarin went to, Mandalore, there's probably stories about it, or, stories they captured some of the. But how would they know he has R5 too? Man, I just can't figure out. I have no idea how he knew R5 was with him.
They would have had to talk to what's her name at the Tatooine.
No, not necessarily. Okay, that's an option. That's a good one. I didn't think of that. Or R5 is still communicating with the New Republic intelligence, and he let them know. Because you're right, either Pilamato could have let him know.
Kind of waved at him, with that little thing in his head.
Oh, and how cool was that the Ashmik droids, their little sensor that R2 was always using, can be a drone. Yeah. I was like, oh, that's rather awesome.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. But then he had to get out and explore it himself. That was nice. You put on a spacesuit, you get over there. No, you just send the droid. It's fine. They have the technology.
Now, I didn't see it. Did anyone... Are they going to say Cara Dune was killed in Moff Gideon's escape? I didn't see any muscular arms or anything in the ship when they were looking around. I haven't went frame by frame yet, but I kind of watched the scene again. I was watching the scene. It looked like, blue uniforms like the guy in the prison ship or some of the other New Republic guys. I didn't see Cara Dune.
Did they already say, I don't remember, did they already say that she was supposed to be on the escort that took him there?
They did. Early in the season, they said Cara Dune is escorting him to the New Republic for the War Tribunal.
And so when he said, no survivors, how many bodies did he say? 6 or 7, I think? But anyway, he said there was no Moff Gideon, but he didn't say it was like everybody else died. You know what I mean? So,
well, and it could have been too. The only thing I could think too is she dropped him off to the New Republic, and this is the New Republic transport. So she may not have been on it. I don't know. I don't know how they're going to play that off. If they're going to recast Cara Dune.
Yeah, they would have been able to cover it right there if they weren't going to have that character continue. She wasn't such a big character that she needed this big going away. That would have been suitable. Suffice. I don't know what the word I'm looking for is.
Sufficient?
But then, what? So, yeah, that would have been sufficient. Yes, an SU word. That would have been sufficient enough for that character. And if, she was kind of a weird character in that, they were going to give her own show, but at the same time, if you dismissed her in that way, it would have been fine.
Yeah, because I do think they have options now for, Rangers of the New Republic, obviously, with what we talked about earlier. So, that leads us in, what's next for The Mandalorian? We got 3 episodes left. It looks like either the New Republic is going to blame the Mandalorians for freeing Moff Gideon, which to me is almost Batman versus Superman logic. Like, this guy completely destroyed Mandalore. I don't think this set of Mandalorians are. Or, it's like we said, there are some loyal to him, and they're freeing him. Because I thought for sure Moff Gideon was going to try to frame the Mandalorians. But doing it this way is Jesse Eisenberg, Lex Luthor way. Not, I loved my theory. I thought I was so great. Him nudging him like, a Mandalorian has the Darksaber now. He's going to unite all of these, different sets of Mandalorians. They're going to rise to power. You might want to nip that in the bud now, guys, because it's going to be a problem for you later if you don't. If he actually thinks putting a little Beskar in the ship that he was rescued from is going to convince, anybody that they need to attack Navarro, that's not going to be very well thought out, in my opinion. So I don't think that's going to happen.
I agree. Fatherly fandom, sir.
What is up, Fatherly Fandom? Good to see you. I guess I'm not actually seeing you, but good to hear from you. We're just kind of talking about what's next for The Mandalorian. I do think we are going to see a few things coming up.
I think we're going to see Christopher Lloyd, obviously, somewhere in these 3 episodes. I hope he doesn't end up being Thrawn or something. That would suck because I just think he's 82. How long can he be Thrawn? Anyway, um, I lost my train of thought. Oh, I think Moff Gideon will be now the big bad for the rest of the season, for the remaining 3 episodes. I don't like that it took it this long to set it up. They could have sprinkled it in maybe earlier in the season, maybe him boarding the ship on an episode, anything. But it's still, I still like it. I'm not putting it down or anything. I'm just saying I would have done it differently.
No, and a lot of those plot threads kind of came finally into play. We finally saw, that 40 minutes of O'Brien's communication officer finally seeing where she could do, coming in and being, oh, they haven't signed the charter, we shouldn't help them, yada, yada, yada. We saw that plot thread come in. We saw Glorian Shard, his plot thread kind of come back. So we see a lot of things coming, and then we see, they're getting their own little land. But, Fatherly Fandom says, I hope Captain Teva can figure it's a ruse. If it is a ruse, I think I was just saying it's, Jesse Eisenberg, Lex Luthor. If they fall for it, they're not very bright. I actually think there may be some Mandalorians that are loyal to Moff Gideon, and they may have freedom. And so the rest of the season, maybe Moff Gideon, some of these Mandalorians, and maybe what's left of his, what's left of his troops, his stormtroopers and stuff, because I don't think they captured them all. So there may be a lot left. We may see some more Dark Troopers. We may see, I don't think we'll see. I think Dave's right. I think Moff Gideon is going to be the big bad filling this out, but we may get hints that, he might be working for Thrawn. Oh, and they did, yes. And yes, why is Elia Kane getting so much access? Well, you know what? She's probably an excellent counterintelligence officer, especially with how inept the entire New Republic seems to be. I think that's, her leading in. And I love that.
You see the when high.
Go ahead.
Is there a delay in my voice or something? Can you hear me? Or are you having trouble hearing me?
Once you start talking, I can hear you, but I think there's a slight delay.
Well, I'll have to get a new mic. But yeah, she definitely seemed a lot more evil this week. And last week I kind of, halfway thought her stories, but then this week, she was definitely setting something up. She's not actually, she's not even trying to fool around with it anymore. She's not masking it anymore.
Yeah, she definitely did not want the New Republic to help Navarro, because a weakened Navarro is much easier for, Moff Gideon's remnants of the Empire to step in and take it over. So, I think you're right. And yes, when Grief Karga was saying Bullock Valley or whatever, that was a very nice shout out to Jeremy Bullock, who originally played Boba Fett. I thought that was, really nice little shout out, a little Easter egg, much like the Zeb, seeing Zeb. That was fantastic. 2 really nice Easter eggs in a show that I had trouble with, issues with, Teva flying all around and all that other stuff. But, what they did right with Zeb and with the battle for Navarre, I thought that was beautiful. Seeing Mando flying around in his N1 starfighter taking out those snub fighters, and just a brilliant plan. And seeing even the one of the parts I was laughing at, the pirates just shooting at the monkeys, the lizard monkeys, whatever they're called, and they pointed out it was a trap. They helped the Mandalorians. Like, he was pointing, and I was like, oh, that's a nice little shot. Nice little help. It's good. It's you treat anything bad, it's going to come back. That was like bad karma on their way.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
So I guess
amazing for Attack on Joe.
Yeah, much better than Glorian Shard.
Yes. Oh my God. And you talk about there's a delay in my voice. Did you see every time he spoke there was a delay? I don't know why.
I didn't know if that was, yeah, I didn't know if that was the sound. I'm like, okay, wait, that's weird. Or it's just how his species talks.
Yeah, like the guy from Police Academy, right? How you doing? You know, that guy.
Do you guys think Grogu was using battle meditation? Now that we know he trained with you for 2 years, maybe he was using in which meant, oh, I didn't think of that, but that is good. You know, that's one of the things that when I was playing Knights of the Old Republic and games like that, I always turn that on, which always like heighten your senses and stuff. That's a good idea. You know, Grogu is going to have a lot of different powers if he has, you know, the beast powers, battle meditation, healing. He's pretty much going to be the most powerful, you know, force user in the galaxy, which I'm all for. I want him to be the leader. I want him to be the Mandalore and just crushing everyone in his path.
He's going to go bad, and then Ahsoka's going to have to take him.
Well, it depends on what you think. I don't think he's going to go bad. I just don't think he's going to be a Jedi. I think he's just going to be a force.
10 years down the road, he's gonna go dark side. We got 10 more years of Mandalorian, don't we? I'm sure.
Hopefully. Yeah.
If we got eight episodes a season, why not?
I've been reading the Bane trilogy, so that came to mind after this episode. The Bane trilogy is fantastic. I read that many years ago, and I really enjoyed it. I should reread that at some point when I get some time, because that was great.
You know what's crazy is there's Darth Bane, there's Cad Bane, and there's Bane in the Batman universe. There's a lot of Banes. Banes of my existence.
I thought that was what you called me.
Yes. Yep.
Oh, what?
I'll call you Darth Bane now on. You are now Darth Bane.
Excellent. Thank you. It's the rule of two.
And then there's Doug, who will do Batman Bane, so we got the Banes covered.
We got it all covered here. But I think we're done. I think we talked about everything. We've talked a little bit about what we think's coming next. We talked about everything on the episode. What are you going to rate this episode, Dave? On the Doug scale from 1 to 10, with 5 being average.
Oh, boy. 6.5. It wasn't amazing, but it was good.
See, I'm right with you. I'll probably, maybe a 7. 6.5. I'll go with 7 just because I always rate it more than you. We got to keep to our things. You know, the problems I had with it didn't outweigh, you know, some of the good things. You know, like the battles, the Zeb thing, you know, moving this, finally seems like they're kicking this season into high gear. You know, those plot threads are kind of coming to thing, and we're finally going to get an end to the season. All I know is that I think with 3 episodes left, there's going to be a lot of plot that hasn't been resolved, mostly with probably Bo-Katan uniting the clans and hopefully bringing them to Navarro to set up the new Mandalore. So,
yeah,
I was just saying fatherly fandom. So don't know if I should ask, but did you guys vote on taking off a certain actor to stand for? Currently, we are waiting to get. Yeah, we're getting more information. You know, we don't want to have a knee-jerk reaction because of, you know, what happened Saturday night to Jonathan Majors. But if it's true and he is guilty, he is definitely going to be booted from our standing. If it comes out he pays off the person who accused him, he will also be kicked off. Yeah, you know what? This is America. He's innocent until proven guilty. You know, we always get these sort of ebbs and flows to how it goes. You know, Saturday night we hear it. We have people who has worked with him in the past coming out and calling him a sociopath and, you know, saying he was always cruel in acting. And I'm like, oh, my God, this is terrible. And then you know, people coming out in his defense and saying, you know, this didn't happen. But the funny thing was, did you guys happen to see, we should probably go into tangent time for this, but I don't know if you guys saw, his lawyer released some text from the woman that, and he did call he was the one who called 911. But he released some text from her, and the lawyer was like, "This is going to exonerate my client." But she never said he didn't do any of these things. She just said they weren't pressing charges. They said they had to take somebody away, which is true. If the police get called in a domestic sort of disturbance like that, they do have to arrest somebody, take them out of the house. And she was just like, they promised me they weren't going to arrest you. She's like, I'm in the hospital, or I'm just getting out of my room. I'm okay. And it just seemed like, I thought that was a weird thing to release because it never said, you didn't do these things to me. I'm so sorry you're being blamed for it. It was more like, I don't want you to get in trouble for what you did. That's what it sounded like to me. I was like, oh, damn. So his lawyer releasing it didn't seem to exonerate him, in my eyes, the way they thought it would.
Well, maybe they don't have. I mean, maybe they just didn't talk about it like that. They would have been a setup. They would have set it up ahead of time and say, "Listen, you got to say on text that I didn't do this." So I don't know. We still don't know, but I'm pulling for him. I hope he turns out to be on the up and up.
Yeah, and that's always the thing. You gotta factor in. He's rich. He's famous. There are going to be people who could falsely accuse him, and I'm certainly not saying that he is falsely accused in this. But when it's along these lines, you never know. You got people on both sides right now saying, "Oh yeah, people knew about this for the longest time." Which, why didn't you speak up? Why did you if this is true? You let another person be victimized because you didn't speak up sooner. And I will never understand that. But if it is just someone maybe trying to cash in on his fame and money, I hope he is exonerated if that is the case and all those details come out. So once again, I guess to answer your question, Fatherly Fandom, we're just waiting to find out more information.
We're waiting it out.
Yeah. So the armorer told... Yeah, so the armorer told, I'm assuming this is Bo-Katan, not No Katan, that she wants her to unite the clans. She didn't say that she would be the leader. Maybe the armorer thinks of her as an ambassador and still promote Din to the Mandalore ones. That's likely. And, the one thing that, I mentioned to Dave earlier, when they were going to Navarro to things, she was like, you will have a new home here. She didn't say we. Bo-Katan did. So I found that a little bit odd. And, Dave had a good theory too earlier. Maybe the armorer, she's like, I don't decide who the leader is. Bo-Katan saw the mythosaur and maybe the chosen one on that side. Din Djarin has the Darksaber. They both have, legitimate rights to rule. We'll let them figure that out. We'll figure out something. But I do think that in the end, Din Djarin will be the Mandalore.
The unwilling Mandalore.
Din was there with the mythosaur too, but he did not see it because he was unconscious. So the mythosaur could have chosen Din, not knowing, he was unconscious and didn't see it. And I think we'll see that play out. I don't know if this season we're going to see Bo-Katan go back to Mandalore to try to tame the mythosaur. Or if for the rest of the season, she's just going to be uniting clans and telling them to come to Navarro. Basically, we have a new homeworld. Come join us. It's the children of the Watch and everybody. We're all Mandalorians, yada, yada, yada. Or if she's going to go back right away and think, the best way to unite the clans outside of outside of the Darksaber is to let people know the mythosaur is back. It is not extinct. There is one living on Mandalore. So
we're not in tangent time anymore, by the way.
Yeah, we are.
No, we're talking about Mandalorians.
No, the screen clearly says tangent time, Dave.
Oh, okay, tangent time.
I kid. We are out of tangent time.
That, man.
I just forgot. I'm not a very bright man. That's been well documented. But yeah, there's a lot of different ways this could go. And I'm looking forward to see, the Beskar that was found in Moff Gideon's ship. Please don't be some terrible attempt at framing the Mandalorians. I do hope it is a set that is loyal to Moff Gideon. And maybe it's, some of the Mandalorians that are still, sticking to the Empire. Because, they're going to have people that, believe the Empire ways like Crosshair did in the Bad Batch. Oh, and yeah, we did cover it, Fatherly Fandom. Doug is actually at Lucasfilm interviewing for the soon-to-be open president's position. So we wish him luck. We hope all is good there. And he'll be back on Sunday night.
Yeah, maybe when he comes back, he can announce the next movie, for crying out loud.
Well, we're getting close, if we believe the rumors, and if you watch our rumor mill rundown for Star Wars that we talked about last week, the rumor is that 3 movies are going to be announced at Star Wars Celebration Europe. So hopefully that's true. Doug may give us some insider information. You never know. He's good like that.
Well, Fatherly Fandom, I do know Feige, and, I do know James Gunn, too, but I think Keith knows him better.
We've hung out a few times, and yes, Attack on Show, I know you want the movie to be delayed. I kept thinking about that. If that does get Kathleen Kennedy out of Lucasfilm, probably for the best. I mean, so many movies that are supposed to be going into production and people she's working with that she just doesn't get along. And, if this rumor is true, and I don't know if I'm sure you've heard this Attack on Show, that she was going into Favreau and Filoni and saying, this is what we need to do, and being a micromanager about the Mandalorian story and all of the Mandoverse. And if the rumors to believe, Jon Favreau said, listen, I'm done if this is how you're going to handle it. I'm going to walk away. I'm not going to do this anymore. I will not be micromanaged. I want this to be my story to tell, not yours. And if that's true, I think, and they stuck with Jon Favreau, I think her days are numbered. And I think we're going to find out very soon that she is going to, I don't think they'll fire her. I think they'll do the thing. We're going to fire you if you don't step down. And she'll go, I'll step down. And, hey, it's been great at Lucasfilm, but, I want to spend time with family, or I know Doug is going to do a great job as president, and, I just want to see Star Wars moving forward in the future.
Yeah, I think Favreau has that kind of weight to throw around there. I mean, his stories are the ones that everyone's watching right now, him and Filoni. And I'm sure Filoni would stand up for Favreau. It's just that everything, all the movies that she announced in the last, set of movies, I guess, they either got shelved, changed directors, there's always something wrong with them. So I can see, that's why I felt like, yeah, it's been her time to go for a while now. So, and I guess her contract is up this summer. Because, like, last time I said this, I was like, man, I hope she gets fired, or hope. And then she signed another 3-year deal. Well, I think this is the end of that 3 years. So she could probably just walk away and not even have to say anything. She wouldn't have to say, I retire, just my contract's up.
No, I mean, we had the trilogy from the Game of Thrones guy that is no longer in production. We heard about, Rian Johnson's trilogy that doesn't seem to be happening anymore. Damon Lindelof's movie, which all of a sudden he's gone and Steve Knight comes in and he's writing it now. We had, I think the worst is the Solo stuff, because Solo had been filming for so long, and then all of a sudden, the 2 directors were fired, and they bring in Ron Howard at the last minute, which I enjoyed Solo. I thought it was a good movie. I think it could have been great if they didn't have all that production, snafu going on, which as the president of Lucasfilm, the buck stops with her. You don't see this craziness going on at Marvel. You see people stepping away from projects. You see things being rewritten, but they stay on track with their projects. Movies are still coming out where with Lucasfilm, they announce a ton of stuff and it never happens. I can't think of anything that Marvel has announced that didn't actually come out. Now, did Edgar Wright direct Ant-Man? No, but Ant-Man still came out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, did we change writers on Blade? They get delayed? Yeah, but it's still coming out. I just think it's time. They need somebody in there who can work with the directors and the talent and everybody else to keep these stories moving along. Oh, that's a good point. Yes, and Filoni is certainly the chosen one. Man, I think he is the glue that keeps that whole universe together. I like Favreau, like what he does, but Filoni is definitely the man. And according to Fatherly Fandom, even when Filoni was promoted, they didn't even make an announcement about it. They definitely have some internal issues. Yeah, they definitely do. You know, they don't even need, to hand it over to Dave and Jon. I don't know if they want that position. They just need to
break it into my house.
Oh, yep, no worries. So, yeah, I don't know if Jon and Dave want to do that, 100%. But if they don't, get someone in there who can work with people. And I don't know if it's, Kathleen Kennedy's ego or something else, but she definitely needs to step aside and get someone in there who can bring, Star Wars back to where it was and where we all think it can be. Because right now, the sequel trilogy was complete garbage. The Mandalorian has been terrific. Book of Boba Fett is good. I think Ahsoka is going to be tremendous. At least I hope so. Sounds like Skeleton Crew, which I don't know if you guys have heard. A bunch of A21 directors are doing episodes of the Skeleton Crew, directing them at least. The Daniels, who did Everything Everywhere All at Once, directed an episode, and the guy who did The Green Knight is directing an episode. So, sounds like Skeleton Crew is on track. That's good. Dave, is everything okay at your house?
Yeah, the door came halfway unlocked, and she couldn't, get it to move, so I had to move it from the inside.
Got it.
Right on.
And even The Acolyte, who I know Dave wasn't very fired up for based on the writer and the showrunner, they're already saying this might get a second season because the execs are very impressed with how The Acolyte is going, which, a story that is Sith-centric, that was very tough to say. I'm glad I got it out. Sith-centric could be really cool, especially in the High Republic. This could lead into Darth Plagueis, Chancellor Palpatine, and all of that good stuff. So, could be interesting. But I needed an absolutely because my voice was going there.
And you said absolutely, so I'll have to drink.
And you just said it. Oh, and then one more thing before we get off the Mandalorian.
Gross.
He didn't take his helmet off. But I was thinking about going back to Grogu being rescued. Because I'm still stuck completely on it going dark and him not remembering a lot of this. Palpatine is also from Naboo. Remember, he was the senator from Naboo prior to Padme.
Right.
That could have been Palpatine's ship that Jedi Master Kelleran Beck put him on. Or maybe he's going to give him over, once he gets to Naboo or once that starfighter lands, he's going to give him over to people loyal to Palpatine. And that is why, because I think we can all agree, Palpatine, if he knew who Grogu was and knew the potential he had, he would want him either to be an apprentice later, or if he knows that blood could be what do the trick, to clone himself, so he could come back for Rise of Skywalker. I do think that it's not going to be Jar Jar. It's definitely not going to be Padme. I think it could definitely be Shave Palpatine.
Oh, we got to. That'll be a good segue into the Bad Batch.
So I don't know. I'll get to the joke in a minute. But last night someone broke into my garage They stole my tools and stuff, and they took my limbo stick. I mean, seriously, how low can you go? And don't forget to hit us up at Twitter, leave a comment down below, and we will see you next time on Not Your Status Quo.